Since 1945, U.S. soldiers have fought in 17 wars and other military operations around the world, each producing more generations of casualties, killed, and wounded.
I had these terrible dreams, woke up in cold sweats. Sometimes I would frankly scare my girlfriend at the time because I would be clearly having a nightmare.
Seth Moulton graduated from Harvard College in May of 2001 and immediately joined the Marines. The terrorist bombings of 9/11 followed less than 4 months later. Despite being against the war, Second Lieutenant Moulton served for 4 deployments in Iraq between 2003 and 2008. When he returned, he realized that he hadn't come home unscathed.
I started having these symptoms and I didn't recognize that it was post-traumatic stress.
In the recent wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, roughly 25% of all combatants had some psychiatric disorder, PTSD, depression, or substance abuse. Roughly 17% had PTSD.
In his work as a U.S. congressman, Moulton takes a lesson from a fellow Marine.
He said, Seth, after what we went through, it would be a disorder if you weren't affected by it.
One of the things that was different about the Iraq-Afghanistan wars was it was a 24/7 war. These deployments were, the dosage of trauma exposure was much higher than it was even in the Second World War.
The trauma just comes from the horrible, horrible things you see every single day just because it's a war.
Mr. Kurtz went away, had a terrible experience, came home, and that was it. But in Iraq and Afghanistan, many active duty troops were deployed 9 or 10 times. So they would come home and renegotiate, then they were gone again.
Most people just have no idea what not just our servicemen and women, but their families are going through on a daily basis. We expected families to be safe back home, but they don't feel safe. They feel like they're going through every day with their loved one who's deployed.
I think what was really terrible is these multiple deployments in the recent wars. We did these multiple deployments so that we wouldn't have to have a draft, but we just don't know the immensity of what it's done to families, but I think it's huge.
And there's clearly not enough support for families, and I think this is something that we're recognizing belatedly, is that deploying is not just about the soldier, Marine, airman, or sailor. It's about their entire family. I think if more Americans knew how god-awful war actually is, we'd get involved in a lot fewer wars.